Sur President, nibda billi nawguralek għall-elezzjoni fil-kariga ġdida tiegħek. Caro Presidente, so che dopo una campagna elettorale così combattuta, lei saprà fare del suo meglio per continuare sull'ottimo lavoro fatto dal suo predecessore Martin Schulz, che ha alzato di molto la rilevanza e visibilità di questa istituzione. Sono certo che, come ha saputo fare negli altri ruoli da lei ricoperti, e come ha già detto, lei darà il massimo durante questo periodo delicato per la nostra Europa. Le assicuro che la Presidenza maltese di questo semestre europeo sarà un interlocutore leale e un lavoratore assiduo per portare a casa i risultati prefissi. Complimenti di nuovo a lei e agli altri candidati. Sur President, nistqar li dan huwa mument emozjonali għalija. L-aħħar darba li dħalt fil-plenarja 9 snin ilu kien bħala membru ta' din il-Kamra. F'dak iż-żmien flimkien ma' Louis Grech, illum li huwa deputat Prim Ministru tiegħi u
manca la traduzione dal maltese in molte altre lingue, in italiano sicuramente. Quindi se si può verificare.
Okay. Sur President, nistqar li dan huwa mument emozjonali għalija. L-aħħar darba li dħalt din il-plenarja 9 snin ilu kien bħala membru ta' din il-Kamra. F'dak iż-żmien flimkien ma' Louis Grech li llum huwa d-deputat Prim Ministru tiegħi u oħrajn konna mal-ewwel grupp ta' parlamentari Ewropej ġejjin minn pajjiżi li dak iż-żmien kienu jissejħu stati membri ġodda. Kien hawn arja ta' eċċitament u ottimiżmu kbir f'din l-istituzzjoni u madwar l-Ewropa kollha. L-inkwitt tagħna kien dwar kif nistgħu nkabbru aktar l-ekonomija, kif nistgħu nlaħqu mal-Aġenda 2020, kif se nipproteġu lill-konsumaturi tagħna aktar, kif nistgħu mmexxu lill-Ewropa aktar il quddiem. Ftit kienu qed jobsru li ġejja kriżi finanzjarja din hija li se tiksagrifika tant postijiet tax-xogħol. Ħadd ma kien jippretendi li banek b'saħħithom se jkollhom jispiċċaw jiġu salvati mill-flus ta' min iħallas it-taxxi. Ftit kienu qed jistennew li se jkollna taħdidiet biex stat membru jiġi salvat mill-falliment. Kważi ħadd ma kien jistenna li se jkollna nibdew taħdidiet biex wieħed minnha jitlaq. Kif kien ikun hawn ħafna tbissim meta konna nkunu ftit ħafna li nitkellmu dwar il-kriżi tal-immigrazzjoni li dak iż-żmien kienet għadha meqjusa bħala problema Mediterranja u mhux problema Ewropea. Dak iż-żmien ukoll kien jkollu 2 minuti xi drabi 5 biex nitkellem. Illum għandi ftit iktar minn hekk u se nipprova nuża dan il-privileġġ bl-aħjar mod. Naf li ħafna minnkom diġà qraw il-programm tal-Presidenza Maltija li b'intenzjoni flimkien mal-ħbieb tagħna Olandiżi u Slovakki huwa iffukat ħafna. Għas-sitt xhur li ġejjin għażilna li niffukaw fuq 6 setturi: l-immigrazzjoni, is-suq waħdieni, is-sigurtà, l-inklużjoni soċjali, il-viċinat tal-Ewropa u s-settur marittimu. Se nagħżel li minflok ngħid ftit sentenzi fuq kull qasam, se niffoka fuq uħud minnhom u lilin minnhom u niġbed ftit talimiet minn dawn il-paralleli ta' kif inbidlet fl-Ewropa u d-dinja f'dan id-deċenju. U l-arja li kien hawn dakinhar u l-arja li hawn illum f'din il-plenarja. U madwar l-istituzzjonijiet Ewropej u fuq kollox fejn veru jgħod, fid-djar tal-familji ta' madwar l-Ewropa kollha. Ovvjament wara nkun lest li wieġeb għall-mistoqsijiet tagħkom fuq l-oqsma kollha. Mr. President, I believe we should start off with migration. We know for a fact that there is a need for a holistic policy which has gone amiss for many years, and that only recently has been recognized as a priority. I must say that the Commission has shown exceptional leadership in this, as has Parliament. And I have to admit that the stuttering is coming from the institution I represent here today. I will not waste your time in repeating clichés that have been going the rounds for so long on the need of using all our policies, including development aid and a long-term approach. We all know that, and we all agree with that. Finally, also thanks to decisions taken during the Valletta summit a little over a year ago, which have given new impetus to the external dimension and led to the negotiation of a number of compacts which are the basis for such a long-term approach. But the issue is much more pressing, and time is not on our side. You know very well Malta's position on this issue. We have been harping for more than a decade that the migration situation in the Mediterranean is unsustainable. We are amongst the first to sow the seeds, even within this Parliament, on the need for responsibility sharing, and also the sharing of the burden of managing the flows that cannot fall exclusively on the shoulders of frontline member states. Yet, we were left almost alone for many years, trying to overcome a crisis which was not our making. The only solution we were given, and only at times, was some more money. But that is not a solution. I confess that when last year we came to take sides in Council on the distribution mechanism proposed by the Commission, there were quite some voices back at home that urged me to stand against the relocation of migrants. They would say, nobody helped us when we needed it. We took our fair share over the years. Now let us mind our own business. I assure you that it would have been a stand which would have been very popular and would have had a popular backing within the silent majority. Instead, we opted to do just the opposite, because we know that this is an issue of principles and credibility. Solidarity is not an à la carte option that we use when we need it and turn a blind eye to when others need it. Solidarity is an essential European value at the very core of what the founding mothers Solidarity is an essential European value at the very core of what the founding mothers and fathers envisaged 60 years ago in Rome. And so, the smallest member state, which over the years, bar the last few, has suffered firsthand the brunt of the human plight of migration with no or little help, signed up to take asylum seekers from other member states which are facing a crisis. To me, that is more than enough to assert that our European and human values are indisputable. I was sorry to see a minority of member states resist this system. During these 6 months, we can choose to dig our heels further and antagonize each other even more. Or, on the other hand, we can try to understand any genuine concerns and misgivings that these member states, and indeed our people in our own member states, have about the whole way in which Europe is handling the migration issue. We opted for a two-pronged approach, which focuses on the effective management of our borders, while concurrently working to achieve progress on the fair allocation of responsibility and, to be very clear, the fair allocation of burden, since we are now used to calling it so. The proper management of our land and, more programmatically, our sea borders is part and parcel of our approach towards the revision of the Dublin Regulation, which needs to be an ambitious and workable solution. The last major crisis that we had caught Europe unprepared. Also because the situation was rendered even more critical by our own inadequate and dated European systems and procedures. In fact, these flaws were exposed in their entirety. All this led to tensions on different approaches, to wall or not to wall. At the end, the only way in which the flow was stemmed was through an agreement with Turkey. We all know it is not a perfect deal, and that is not a long-term solution. But we have to admit that this is what, until now, has made some difference. Europe cannot be caught in this conundrum once again. Come next spring, Europe will face a new heavy influx of migrants, this time through the central Mediterranean. Needless to say, the composition, origin, and reasons why these people want to undergo the riskiest voyage of their life across a deadly sea is different from that of mainly Syrian refugees crossing the Aegean Sea. We all know, too, that the countries across the southern littoral of the central Mediterranean are different in so many ways from Turkey. Nevertheless, in my mind, there is no doubt that unless the essence of the Turkey deal is replicated in the central Mediterranean, Europe will face a major migration crisis. Let me not mince my words. I see no way in which one single member state can manage or absorb this further wave. Thus, the essence of the core principles of the European Union will be seriously tested unless we act now. Let me be also very clear in what I mean by the replication of the essence of the Turkey deal. I mean, most importantly, breaking the business model of the criminal gangs raking millions of euros out of this inhumane business. I do believe that a strong political message is necessary at this point. And I say that if we manage to get such an agreement, we should then, as a European Union, organise humanitarian safe passages and corridors that would get recognised asylum seekers to Europe safely. One final point on migration. I have no doubt that unless we are ready to take such bold moves, we would be made to take even bolder ones in the months to come. And these decisions would be led by people who do not have the progress of the European project at heart. This is a matter which we intend tackling directly during the meeting of the heads of state and government in Malta next month. I said I will not go into each and every priority of the presidency, but I cannot make this address without mentioning specifically the priority of security. The European Union is meant to deliver an area of freedom, security and justice for its citizens. Our citizens need to feel safe and protected wherever they are within Europe. In recent times, we have seen a direct threat to that security. We have learned at our own cost that the security of one member state is the security of another. If we are not together, we are extremely vulnerable. Strengthening our resilience to protect our way of life is a common responsibility, and therefore taking cooperation in this area to a different level is not an option. Member states and institutions need to work relentlessly to deliver a safe Europe for the citizens. In recent months, a lot has been done, but a lot more needs to be done, and our efforts need to increase because time is really of the essence. The Maltese presidency will work hand in hand with you as Parliament to address this common challenge with determination. Allow me now to take some time to discuss Brexit. It is quite a historic irony for a country that has been a British colony for 2 centuries and which currently also presides the Commonwealth to hold the presidency of the Council of the European Union at the time of the triggering of the process, by means of which the United Kingdom will, unfortunately, cease to be a member of the European Union which it supported us to join. Given our historical ties and the great and mostly positive influence that the British systems had on our own, from the basis of our educational and administrative systems to English, which is one of our 2 official languages, from the George Cross for the bravery shown by our forefathers during the Second World War, which we proudly display on our flag, to the side of the road on which we drive, this is not a happy event for us. We want a fair deal for the United Kingdom, but that deal necessarily needs to be inferior to membership. This should not come as a surprise to anyone. Indeed, thinking it can be otherwise would indicate a detachment from reality. Yesterday's statement by my colleague and friend Prime Minister May helps clarify the priorities of the British government during the impending negotiations. Our understanding is that Prime Minister May is prioritising curbs to freedom of movement of people over membership of the single market and the customs union. She added that she does not want for the United Kingdom to replicate something that exists, but the creation of something new. I would like to confirm to this House today that at this point there is unequivocal unity within Council. This stand does not arise from antagonism, but from belief in the core principles of the European project. As stated by the 27 heads of states and government after the Brexit referendum result, which we respect as a sovereign decision, the freedom of movement of persons, goods, services and capital cannot be decoupled. Put it simply, the 4 freedoms are indivisible. Indeed, the fact that the British Prime Minister declared that she will take her country out of the single market because of the political choice to limit freedom of movement of persons confirms the position of the EU27, that the 4 freedoms are one package. That in itself is a somewhat positive development. This is not to say that we should allow these principles to be abused or undermined. Freedom of movement of persons is aimed at allowing people to move freely across the member states to work and establish themselves and their families freely. It was never meant to encourage people to shop around member states to see who offers the best social benefits. This is why we look forward to the Commission proposals in this area. Once there is a notification, a clear and clean cut from current arrangements, and afterwards negotiated and unrelated a new free trade agreement ushered in by possible transitional agreements, where European rules and institutions cannot be compromised, will be an arduous task, as our recent experiences in trade agreements suggest. There should never be an underestimation of this task, as there should never be an underestimation of our colleagues on the other side of the table. I would like to report to you how Council intends to go about the mechanics of Brexit. First of all, we will keep to the maxim that there will be absolutely no negotiations without the official notification. Once the notification is made, depending also on the contents of such a notification, consultations will start amongst member states with the intention of convening an extraordinary European Council meeting within a short period of time, possibly 4 to 5 weeks from notification, with the aim of establishing the guidelines that will serve as a mandate to the Commission to negotiate. I want also to take this opportunity to say that I am very impressed with the thorough preparations that Michel Barnier and his team are making. The Commission will be asked to refer back to Council as appropriate. The General Affairs Council will be tasked with the preparation of the Council's work. This leads me to the role of Parliament in all this. As already publicly stated, I advocate that Parliament should be involved as much as possible in this process. Having been part of this institution myself, I am aware of the organic dynamics that are within. I am of the opinion that not involving Parliament is not the best choice. It comes at its own risk. And it would also lead to even the fairest of deals risking to be scuttled. While saying this, I do appeal to all institutions to adopt a consistent approach that is aimed at safeguarding the European project and not at punishing any particular country. Before closing, I would like to pinpoint to a further element which is present in the narrative and the programme of the Maltese presidency, the social factor. I believe that the social aspect of this 60-year-old project is the essence of our European Union. It is an ethos that no other group of nations can say is theirs. It is a characteristic that no trade deal can ever aspire to replicate. Indeed, social Europe is the X factor of the European Union. You either have it or you don't. This is why we want these 6 months to lead the drive towards a strengthening of this ideal, which can go a long way in contributing towards the real questions that families across our continent are asking, and the experiences that they go through each and every day of their life. Social Europe should not be treated as a concept belonging to the 90s, but rather as the unique European essence, the real scope behind projects such as the single market and the euro. The fact that we have not pursued this goal actively over the past few years may provide an explanation to the current mood in many of our member states. So we are proud to put social Europe back on the agenda, in sync with the Commission's recent work. I strongly believe that matching this dimension with policies conducive to economic growth and more and better jobs can help provide a guiding light not only to our people, but also to the global community that is looking desperately for progressive leadership. Sur President, hemm bosta suġġetti oħra li xtaqt nitkellem dwarhom u nittama li jkolli ċans nitkellem dwarhom fit-tweġiba għall-interventi tal-kollegi. Fost l-oħrajn is-suq waħdieni, il-qasam tat-tassazzjoni, id-dinamiċi interistituzzjonali, l-ambjent u l-klima, il-qasam marittimu, ir-roadmap ta' Bratislava, is-60 anniversarju ta' Trattat ta' Ruma, fuq kollox kif qed diġà l-aspett soċjali. L-Ewropa tfisser affarijiet differenti għal kulħadd. dak li għal uħud hija aktar konverġenza għal ħaddieħor huwa kontroll żejjed. Dak li jista' jitqies li huwa sussidjarjetà hemm min jara bħala nuqqas ta' Ewropeiżmu. Iżda m'hemmx dubju li bid-difetti kollha tiegħu il-proġett ta' dawn l-aħħar 60 sena ta' Ewropa Magħquda wassal għall-aħjar perjodu fl-istorja millenarja ta' dan il-kontinent. Kien l-aktar perjodu li ġab ġid u li ġab progress. Għalhekk it-tema tagħna hija reunion. Għaliex is-60 sena tal-Ewropa, fis-60 sena tagħha, l-Ewropa m'għandix taħseb biex tirtira, iżda biex tavvanza.